Welcome back, folks, and in this video, as I've promised you before, that I will work out a nice example on explicit intent. So I've created an activity as the name of explicit and implicit intent. My idea is when I click on the start next activity, so it's going to take me to the second activity, which appears something like this. Okay, let's see how we can do that by using an intent. I mean explicit intent. We use the explicit intent if we want to invoke an activity inside our app, and if you want to call another activity which doesn't locate inside my app, so I'm going to use the implicit intent for that. So let's see how we can use explicit intent and how we can pass data from one activity to another activity. So I have created a button in here as the name of BTN start activity, and it has a method as the name of next activity. When the user clicks on the start next activity, so it's going to call this method. When this method gets called, so what I'm going to do is I create an intent object. I'm going to create an intent object to call another activity. New intent. And in here, if you want to call the second activity, make sure that you specify your first parent activity you're in, main activity, and call this. And if you want to call the second activity, so what I'm going to do is second activity and use the class. Okay, if you want to start that activity, so I use the start activity method and pass the intent object. Let's see what happens. So this is it. Whenever I click on the start activity, so it's going to take me to another activity. This is one usage of implicit intent. If you know which component you're calling inside your app, so you can use the explicit intent. You see, it gets us to the second activity, which it says welcome to the second activity. Another way that you can also call that second activity is that you can set the class name for them. Okay, so I use the intent object and I say intent.setClassName. The first parameter is your package name, so you must get your package name, and above you can get your package name. Okay, Control C, double quotes, and paste it. And in the second parameter, I specify your second activity alongside the class name. Dot, and I copy my second activity and I paste it here, and I put the semicolon in here. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, amazing, isn't it? This is another way you can call your second activity. First, specify your package name, and the second parameter, specify the package name alongside the activity you want to call. For passing the data between activities, so I'm going to create a edit text box in here. So my idea is that when the user provides his username and password, whenever he clicks on the start next activity, so it's going to store both of these data inside the intent object. And when we are in the second activity, when the user clicks on the load data, so it's going to get those data and put them in here. How we can pass data between these two activities? So I've created two edit text boxes and one button, and I'm going to handle that when the user clicks on the next activity. So I get those data and I put them inside the put extra, and in here I specify the key and I say username and the value. So I'm going to store that the value in here, name, edit text, find view by id r.id dot edt name dot get text dot toString. So I'm going to get the password, edit text, find view by id r.id dot edit password dot get text dot toString. So I have the password and username. I'm going to put the name in here, and I use the intent dot put extra password, and I put the password in here. This is how we can pass data between the intents. And in the second activity, when the user clicks on the load button, so I'm going to handle its on click load method, alt enter, create method. So I'm going to say get intent, which it returns a reference to the caller activity, the intent that called the second activity. By using get intent, it's going to get the intent that is called the second activity, and I call the get string extra, and I pass the key name. Okay, and I use the edit text boxes and I store them inside the edit text boxes. What I'm gonna say, edit text, find view by id r.id dot edit name dot set text, and I store the name inside a name variable. Okay, and I put that in here, string pass get intent dot get string extra, and I pass the key password. So now I have the password. I'm going to set to its respective edit text, intent.set text and pound, and that's it. Let's run and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to provide my name. My password is something like this. Okay, now when I click on the load button, so it's going to extract those data and put them into their respective edit text. I put username in here. I forgot to do that. I forgot to use the same key. Let's run it again. Click on start next activity. I'm going to load button. Bam, this is it. Sajal Yahya Khan, and the password is this one. So this is how you can pass data between two activities by using intent. And the intents that you want to send the data to the next intent, so you use that put extra, pass the data based on the key. It works like key value pairs. On the recipient activity, you call the get intent, which it returns you the intent that is called the second activity. And you call the get string extra and pass the key. Based on the key, you will get your data. It's not only necessary that you get the string, you can also pass the integer, boolean, and only primitive data type. And you can also pass the array also. So this is how you can pass the data between two intents by using the explicit intents. So basically, explicit intents are used if you want to call the component inside your activity. For example, if you want to call another component, if you want to open the app activity, so you must create an extra activity inside your app and do the functionality and write the code for opening the camera inside your app, which is considered as wasting time, while there are apps inside your Android phone that can handle your request. You don't need to write codes and create activities inside your app for doing so. So this is where we use the implicit intent to open other apps outside your app in Android phone. In the next video, we will see how we can use the implicit intent to call other activities which are not inside your app, and you tell the Android system which apps can handle your request. So this is all about the explicit intents. I hope you liked what you watched, and in the meantime, make sure that you subscribe us and don't forget to give us a thumb up if you like this video, and share this video with anyone you like, and support us in any way you can, and let me know your thoughts in the comment boxes below this video. So have fun learning. Peace out, and don't forget to watch the next video, which we will talk about the implicit intents.